Johns is a term we use for excuses. A lot of people don't know where the term came from. It just started, but I believe it was a guy in Texas. His name was John, and no matter what, every time he'd lose, he'd have an excuse. He'd have a reason for losing. It's like, I didn't sleep last night, or I don't know why I'm not confident today. I need a warm up. Like, I haven't eaten all day. Like, you know, John's excuses.
My favorite one, I think, was I was playing somebody and they were like, someone's touching my shoulder. And I was like, no, John's. No, John's. That's not relevant right now.
It's stuff that either, you know, doesn't really affect you or happens to everyone. So we just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Even sometimes
I'm not playing
it's
well
totally,
today. Everyone doesn't play well certain days.
Like
you
even
know,
if it's
deal
totally
with it.
legit. Like if someone's like, oh, I couldn't make it to the tournament. I broke my leg in the airport. I'm like, no, John's. You should have made it.
That's
no,
when it
John's.
turns into a joke. You know, someone's playing and you unplug his controller. He's like, you unplug my controller. No, John's.
So, a lot of people don't really understand Smash as a competitive game. I've heard that the first year at Evo 2K, a lot of the Street Fighter pros and stuff were kind of making fun of it.
If you do not play the game, it's hard to understand. Like you guys said, you had a guy in the office who says there's like 2 moves that you use total in the game, which is completely not true. It's a very deep game, but so we pretty much ignore it.
But like with Evo, I mean, Evo was really impressed with our community. Mr. Wizard, their leader, came to one of our sites and made a big post about how impressed he was with, you know, how deep the game was and how mature the players handled themselves. And
I think we had like the second highest attendance after, was it Marvel versus Capcom?
I think so.
But we brought in about 270 people for the finals.
Wow. Which is the largest Melee tournament ever.
The community is just way more tight-knit than most other games.
So Street Fighter has Shoryuken.com, Virtual Fighter has BFDC. Where do you guys go? Do you go
Smashboards.
Smashboards.
And the new site. And the new site that just came out.
What's the new site?
Neil is in charge of, Neil and JV, right? It's allisbrawl.com.
Well, it seems like Nintendo doesn't even look at it as like a serious competitive.
They took away a lot from it. I really like pretty much everything about Brawl, unless it's stuff that they took out. The fact that you can air dodge multiple times, that you can do moves out of your air dodges. I think that it opens up a lot of defensive options, which seems to be the way that they went with everything that they added in the game. Everything is more defensive options.
Throw is ridiculous in this game. Like, okay, in Smash 64 you had throws that could kill you. In Smash Melee you had throws that could combo you. In this game you have throws that'll give you 3%. There's no point. There's almost very few characters have a use for their throws. It doesn't combo and it doesn't kill. I think Sakurai, like he went from a game like Melee where it was like rock, paper, scissors. You have your attacks, your shields, and your grabs. Shield beats attack, attack beats grab, grab beats shield.
Right.
And here, with the new system, it's pretty much he just turned it into a game of just rocks and scissors, and like that's it, you know.
Since it's more defensive game, do you think it's catered to turtlers, or is this like a hit and run game?
Yeah.
I know the game's really early, but what do you think are the top people and the bottom people in Brawl?
I think we'll all agree on Marth and Meta Knight.
Yeah, for sure.
So Meta Knight and Marth. Who else?
Toon Link.
Yeah, Toon Link's really
Toon
good.
Link is ridiculous.
I think the Game & Watch is really good.
So what we're doing with Game & Watch?
Alright, just his back air is one of the best moves in the game. So just put your shield up. So like, if you short hop a back air, like it'll poke through the shield almost every time.
Because in Brawl, the shield only protects the area that it's actually visibly showing.
Yeah,
so
you can still like tilt it.
So his head's still sticking out. You can hit his head.
Okay.
It was like that in Melee.
Damn.
And then there was a a different website, gaming website, that's claimed Day-to-Day as the worst character in the game, which is ridiculous because he's easily
not
one
at all.
of the
He's
better
one of the
characters.
best. Yeah, we
One
didn't
of the best
mention him, but
characters
he's
in the game.
definitely one
So
of the
why
best.
is D3 so good?
He's powerful. He's got multiple jumps. He's got great maneuverability. He's got a great
Great
edge guard.
recovery. He's got
So
the
you can
chain
just
grab.
do this for like an hour and just like stay there, keep hitting you off. He's powerful. He is slow, but that's not a big
What does
deal
the
in this
chain
game.
grab look like?
I gotta-
Basically, he throws him down. The character, rather than falling over or going anywhere, just sort of plops right in front of you, standing up. So you run forward, grab him again before he can really do anything.
Yeah, you
A
can't
lot of
react.
characters can jab you or do something before you can grab them again.
Yeah.
But there's some you just do it all the way across the stage. Some stages you can do it against a wall and they can't get out of it, or you just walk them off the ledge doing it.
His up smash is fantastic because it covers such a huge range.
And plus, as my friend pointed out, he's got the Playboy bunny on his back. Which makes him more offensive. So obviously, he's good.
Olimar, honestly, I think Olimar is one of, if not the best characters on the stage. You can just wait for them to approach, and wherever they approach from, you just point this little yellow stick at them. And you'll be able to punch them. They'll throw a smash attack. You go up, forward, down, and then if they go right there, you can do your up B. But once you get them off,
Yeah.
again, one of the easiest characters to kill off the edge because he's only got his tether recovery.
So how's Diddy Kong?
His dash attack is so good. It has 0 lag. Like, you cannot punish it. So you dash attack into whatever you want. Like, I just did
Wow.
2 moves right
Are
there.
you serious?
Yeah, and shield it. Just shield it. You can't punish it. There's no way.
When he says that Diddy has very little lag after dash attack, he means that once the dash attack finishes, there's
do whatever
very
you
little
want.
opportunity for someone to do something before you can attack again.
And like the bananas, I totally forgot about the bananas. The bananas are fantastic. Let's say I just throw like a banana or something like that, right? And then I get to this side of him, and I throw him, and like he tries to tech roll or something like that. I'm not. Yeah, see, like right there, and then I can punish
So
him.
it just
really
limits
easily.
your options.
Who's the character you think got nerfed? Didn't Captain Falcon because you can't
How?
L cancel?
This guy.
Falcon
was
is a
insane.
stereotypical example of who got nerfed.
And then the thing, what they did was that I don't agree with is they nerfed characters that did not need to be nerfed. They nerfed Samus, who wasn't that great in melee. They nerfed Peach. Do you think they nerfed Jigglypuff? I think they did.
Ganon.
Ganon.
Ganon
Ganon
did
was
not
bad.
deserve to be nerfed.
Hedgehogging is when you grab the edge in order to stop your opponent from grabbing the ledge himself, so he just ends up dying and you hang on. So pretty much what you do is you run in that direction, and because you can grab the stage by just pressing back when you're facing away from it, you can just drop and then, oh, I didn't even do it right.
See, already you know that it takes skill if Hugo messes up one.
Like that. You see
You
what I
can,
did?
yeah, you can run
Just
off facing the other direction. It's hard to do with some characters, but like with Meta Knight, for example,
Oh, there's tripping.
Meta Knight, good one.
Surprise, surprise. Did you read that? Have you seen tripping? Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't seen tripping.
It's
tripping.
ridiculous. It's-
See,
people
there it
are
is.
calling it the worst thing that they've ever added to any fighting game. It could cost you the match, pretty much. So I'm just imagining like a $10,000 tournament where the guy trips at the last second and he dies.
So as he's running, he could
It's
be
possible
arbitrarily
that-
tripped.
Whoever thought of tripping, and then should have been fired, and then they had to have gone through a bunch of other people to approve it. They all should have been fired too. The person who's shielded has the advantage. Like, you can punish them really easily. But if you're playing a character like Meta Knight, you can just kind of keep chopping at their shield. So like I just kind of wander around the stage and try to space myself so that they'll be able to miss. But I've got a huge sword. Like, I have massive range. So like, I'll just do something like that on their shield, and eventually like.
What are you doing? You're just doing down
I'm just doing
tilts
down
and
tilts and
catching
forward
back.
tilts. Like it's really hard to.
Like most other people, I can just let go of my shield and punish them, but Meta Knight's just so fast that I can't.
Yeah, like you can
I
kind of
gotta
push
just
them
get
all the way
away,
across the
you know?
stage.
So
You
Meta
just
Knight
have
has
to-
massive frame advantage after his attacks.
So if you guys were gonna give some advice to, some of the people out there who want to get good at this game and like play at a level like you guys, what would you tell them?
Find people near you. Go on these community sites. Find people in your area. They all have regional zones. You hook up with people, 10 minutes away, and just go and play.
The Smash community is much more open and friendly to new people coming in. It seems like.
Smash was on the main circuit for MLG. If MLG is a pro console gaming tournament league, it was Halo and Smash for the two big games going on. And the thing is, I would watch their communities. I would never see the winning team go out to lunch with the third place team. It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Here, you have the guy who placed first, the guy who placed second, the guy who placed 97th. It's not just with the elite players, it's with everybody. Everybody's so friendly. And it's because Our community wasn't built online with online gameplay. It was built from some guy hosting a tournament in his bedroom.
There's this misconception, like some people say,
people
by
actually
turning
have fun
off
winning.
items and stuff like that, that people who play tournaments do not play this game for fun. And that could not be more incorrect. Like, we have a lot of fun playing like this. I have more fun playing like this than I do playing with all the crazy stuff on. Not to say that that's not fun, I still have fun doing that. But it's just frustrating when people try to tell you this is fun. What you are doing is not fun. Because we really enjoy the game a lot.
The reason why I chose a platformer initially was because I wanted a simple world with simple rules that would be easy to picture in your mind what could happen, you know, and that would help, because this rewinding thing and all the different things that can happen with time, I mean, they're not super complicated once you get used to them, but they're not the way that you're used to thinking. And so I wanted to have a simple backdrop for that to take place. And once I had that simple backdrop, other things came to mind, like, oh yes, I don't have to explain too much about, you know, oh, you jump on monsters' heads to kill them, because people know that.
And I actually think also towards that comfort zone area is the graphical style of the game.
One of the most important aspects of the art direction that we talked about consistently was always clarifying what the player could touch and what he couldn't, because you need to be able to apprehend immediately what you're looking at, and not to go through a period of confusion, not to make the puzzles unnecessarily complicated, and not to mislead the player in any way. But there's a kind of thematic reason also, which has to do with the variation between highly detailed artwork and like you said, impressionistic artwork. Right, the Braid world is a fluid, changing world where the rules can change, and as you go from place to place, there are different laws that governing the action. And embedded in the game is this idea that the world can be revised, and also that the world is a creation of human thought, or that our thoughts, and that's part of the story.
Then you've got, you know, real world solid in front of you. You've got impression and distance behind you, and the interplay between those two things. Kind of, when I was watching you play, I was trying to classify, you know, my emotional response to this, which is something that I don't usually do in game. Braid really got that to me, and I was literally thinking, how do I feel when I'm looking at this game?
I mean, I credit the game design a lot for that, because I think that the game gives you space to have a reaction. You know, it's not measuring you and reprimanding you and forcing you to worry about things that would put you in a kind of like resource management, worrying kind of mode.
Right, because like the controlling time, the rewinding time is unlimited,
right,
essentially.
Yeah, and stuff like the story just being there, and if you stand in front of a podium, you get it, you can walk past, and it's kind of like, that's one of my favorite things about the game, that there's all of its best stuff is kind of latent, and it's just waiting for you to invest something, and then it's there. The game is a good conversationalist for me because it kind of listens a lot, or it kind of leaves a lot of open space, and there's a nice, like, welcoming feeling when you invest in it.
You could walk right past puzzles that you weren't ready to solve, or that you couldn't solve right away, you hadn't figured out just yet, and so there is you could go back to different parts of the world at different times. And
I think that that's one style of play. Like, there's going to be some players who are like, I want to see the end of the game, and I'm going to beat this game, right?
Sure.
And they're just going to run past everything, and I think that they would get the feeling that they're missing something, right? And that's fine. It's trying to be an interesting place for you to feel things and see things and discover things. And it's got some things that it recommends, you know, like, hey, look at this time stuff. But if you wanted to ignore that, you could. You couldn't win without doing that, but you could still do some interesting things in the space. Because you can visit all of the worlds in an almost arbitrary order and solve the puzzles in an arbitrary order, the story can actually be visited non-linearly also, to a certain extent. And so it's not your classic linear game story. It's more like, here are different pieces of, like, maybe things in a scrapbook or something. Like, they're juxtaposed off each other, and together they combine to build this whole picture somehow. The world is about vagueness and revision, because that ties back into time, right? If you can rewind and change things in the past and whatever, what is history, right? What is the future? There's always something that the player can bring to the way he reads it, and hopefully there will be a lot of interesting discussions about the fiction.
And one of the things that I'm actually really looking forward to is taking the puzzle pieces and building the pictures in the hub world, because you said that those are evocative of whatever that level's particular theme is.
The image represents in some way, it's both an acknowledgement that you've completed that world and that you had this certain set of experiences, but it also is, it's viewing that theme of that world from a different angle, right? So there's several things that combine to create the feeling of one world. There's the actual behavior of time that you play, right? There's the art behind the world, what are the colors and what's the style? And then there's the fiction, right, which is the metaphor for the gameplay. And all of those things work together, right? And then that final image that you put together is kind of a different window onto those same ideas. It's never just gonna be like, oh, you played through this world where you can rewind, and so the picture is of you rewinding now. There's nothing very interesting about that. Like, that would be kind of a letdown to put that together. It's something different that you can think about and interpret.
And I think there is a lot of care in the game design of Braid, and I think there is a lot of care in the art. And it was funny because, like, when you were showing us the demo, I asked you, like, so what are these? You're the level artist, and I asked, so, or you're the world artist, and so I asked, are these tile sets? How did you make these? But they're actually just, one large canvas, or, with some large pieces that are going together, right?
Irregular pieces that can be put together and sort of overlapped. So there'll be a rock or a little edge of a cliff or a piece of ground or whatever. And then they have fuzzy edges, so you can sort of overlap them and they look like they flow into each other. And so that's how we...
And so the effect is organic as opposed to, here's this tile repeated X times. Yeah. And does that play into the theme of the game overall as well?
Tiles are by definition very structured and well defined, right?
Yeah.
Like they fit in a box, and there's a bunch of boxes. And
Right.
That's not the world of.
It wouldn't have been the right look.
Yeah.
And it also is a more... You can definitely do great art with tiles, but it does look more... It's very rigid, and it's a clear... And I think Braid has a handmade, personal look to it. And like John pointed out, the books, there are 5 books there, and there are several different books, and your eye kind of notices, or you don't see a repetition. You sort of have a feel that they're organic.
9 out of 10 times, I would never expect to see that in a game where they just copy and paste. That's level design 101. It's find you make a column, make a wall, and just repeat the whole way down. And you're not used to seeing that, and that makes you look at it differently.
Which brings us back to our strategy, which is to outspend the competition.
How did you guys collaborate?
I was doing a comic with a friend of mine at the time, so I like small collaborative projects, and I did this webcomic for a while, but that was kind of winding down, and it felt very comfortable to me to go into that that space thematically.
The game's been in development over 3 years.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be, right? It was actually the version that won the IGF Game Design Award. Was submitted to them in December 2005. It was fully playable from end to end. The puzzles have been revised and they're a little better now, but they were basically all there. So it's been 2 years and a few months of just refining the game.
I kind of wanted to ask you about that because when you talk to a lot of independent developers, one of the huge pros that they would say about being independent is shorter development times. Where a lot of them are like, oh my goodness, the idea of working 5 years on a single project is just completely overwhelming for me. And even when we talked to Phil Fish about Fez, he had said, I've been working on Fez for a year. And even that is starting to be like, this is a long time to be working on a game. And you said 3 years you've been working on Braid. When you go on to your next project or anything, I mean, is that kind of something you're looking forward to? Is maybe something like you could just spend 6 months on or 8 months on? Or are you more of the mentality of, I'll spend as much time working on a project as long as I'm excited about it and until it's done?
I have game ideas that would be short, but maybe by the time I do them, they'll be 3 years. I really don't want that. I don't want to spend 3 years on my next game.
Right. I gotcha.
But if that's what has to be done to make it good, then I will.
Oh my gosh, Hugo.
Does anybody here even play Smash?
Don't you?
No. I like real fighting games, man. I like real fighting games.
I gotta beat this idiot. You guys help me?
is drawing near. A fight is almost here. And I just can't wait another day. I wanna final smash you. Final smash you through a fucking wall. Bring me the man that will fight me in Smash Brawl. Find me that hero who's gonna take it all. Never surrender. Battle forever and me fighting for the honor of Brawl. There was a time when we were brothers. That was a long time ago. Training really far away. Preparing for our match today.
You're ready.
Fighting for the honor of Brawl.
So, Dark Sector. What do you guys think of Gears of War 1.5? Is that accurate?
Minus co-op with like an amped up single player storyline and like Glaive, I guess. Seeing this game in previews, it didn't inspire me to get excited about it the way that I was excited about a game like Gears of War. But I could feel the excitement building from every person that had gone to play it and come back to talk about it. They were like, "Oh, it's better than you think it is." Like
as they got hands-on, that's when they became believers.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say too much that early in the game your character gets infected. That's why he's got the crazy thing on his arm. That's why he's got the glaive. And as that infection spreads throughout your body, you get more powerful and you gain more abilities.
It does start really slow as a result of that. I think in this game it actually would have benefited by the classic like thing where you start with all your powers and lose them. As much as I hate that in most games, this at least would have done a good job of giving you a taste of what you'll be building to. The more powers you get and the more like robust the combat becomes, then it, like things get interesting and then actually really like the game by the end. Whereas at the beginning I was kind of like, this is
I actually like the progression at the beginning of the game. The game doesn't have blind fire, which is weird, and you can't hold down. I was playing on PS3, but you can't hold down the X button to like run, then snap into a cover, then leap over the cover, then move to the next thing. Everyone is a different, separate, like discrete button press, and that was a little bit strange at first. But I was still happy with the fact that the cover worked, the shooting worked, and then by the time I got the glaive, I was like, okay, well this is new. And then very shortly afterwards, I got a new glaive power, and I was like, okay, well this is new. And then very shortly afterwards, I got a new power, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Then they introduced the weapon upgrade systems. Like it comes in at a relatively like consistent pace, and you always feel like you're getting something new.
First glaive power you get is the environmental stuff where you throw it into a fire, it becomes on fire, then you can throw it at the black goo that like blocks half of the doors in the world, or throw it into like electricity and use that, which affects enemies as well. That stuff's cool, and that's kind of ties into their very few puzzles they have, or like guide the glaive using the aftertouch like over a wall and hit a button.
Like the weapon upgrades. 6-axis like Heavenly Sword?
Yeah.
Oh, it does use it?
It does use it like Heavenly Sword. Very similar. It's very close to what it was on Heavenly Sword.
It works the same with the analog stick too. I mean, I had no problem with that either.
They still managed to work in the Gears stuff even into the glaive though. Like instead of like in Gears you have to active reload, or you have to hit the bumper to like you do more damage if you reload that way instead. And in Dark Sector you have the power throw, where if you like hold down the throw button and let it go like at a certain time in the meter, you'll do 4 times the damage, and that's when you like chop off limbs more easily and chop guys in half and stuff.
I kind of love that timing aspect. Like it's the kind of the game within a game, just like the active reloading. And for me, every time I did it, like it was kind of like a little thrill.
I made sure that I learned the timing, so I can do it almost every time now. And what's great is if you have a DualShock, you can do it based on the vibration of the controller when you're not zooming in with the reticle. So like you can still get the power shot as long as your timing is right when you don't hold down the L trigger to zoom.
I love how like the glaive is used to, if you're like shooting from like a balcony or something, you can use it to grab like a weapon that an enemy dropped. You know, it's like it's great as kind of like the Link, you know, Zelda-esque boomerang that you can use to pick things up.
Later in the game too, I mean, they start hiding more kind of secret items a little bit. You know, it'll be off in a corner that you can't necessarily walk to, but you can, you know, throw your glaive over there and grab it. After you upgrade your weapons,
and upgrading like it's pretty satisfying when you do. You get some really powerful guns.
Like the upgrade powers, when you slot it onto the gun, it's there for good. There's a lot of things where it's like you just kind of learn by doing it with the upgrading system. That's why it's kind of weird. It's also erratic.
Or
it's
Nick,
like,
you can read the manual and you would know this.
I could do that.
All right. I had the glaive, and then like you have a hand weapon. I got that handheld shotgun. Right. And I would just kick ass up close, and then I had my rifle from when I had to do a long distance, and that worked great.
I was running around with this shotgun that I could fire like very, very fast, almost semi-auto with no scope, and that experience was very much like Resident Evil.
I would use a glaive when they're like medium distance away. As soon as I got within the radius, then I pull out the gun. You know, it worked out so great.
Right, because the beginning of early in the game when you start, it's mostly this kind of like go into cover and then combat, you know, soldiers that are firing at you with weapons. Right. So once, you know, you get to the point in the game where it's like weird creatures running at you and trying to attack you with melee, you know, melee weapons, then it's like, it turns into a different game.
Boss battles. It seemed like they're getting hit, but if you weren't doing the actual trick, you could do that indefinitely.
You don't really know. You couldn't know you're hurting them until they're dead, or
and it
like
really annoyed me because a lot of times I kind of got stuck in that. I kept almost infinitely in a loop, just kind of hitting a guy, dodging, hitting, you know, and he wasn't getting hurt, but he looked like he was. Maybe you even put a life bar on it. That'll help just like for indication reasons, you know. I just want to know, you know, I'm actually making progress.
It has its own engine and not Unreal Engine, and it actually runs more smoothly than anything I've seen on Unreal Engine. There's no weird like texture pop in. It's just like buttery smooth. Looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
But they still have like the Gears aesthetic down pat.
There's a lot of like kind of random sci-fi. The stages feel a little generic. The enemies feel a little generic.
The character and some of the boss designs are really cool, like visually, and they just kind of fit in with their mechanics. But just the rest of it, like the kind of just general like aesthetic and the general blandness of the bad guys and the environments are like literally you just could take like these are outtakes from Gears. Let's take this little like plaza that I'm gonna fight a bunch of guys and dump it in Dark Sector.
When you play a game like Eco, you've got the space is very well defined. Like you get a sense as you go through it that it is this one cohesive castle, and you're traveling all around these different parts of it. And in this game, it's just like a bunch of areas blended together with load screens, and I don't really feel like I don't know where I am. I don't have a good feel for that space.
I think it says something that we keep going back to talking about how we enjoy the combat, how we do it, because like we kind of light up at those points, because like that's the fun part, and I could keep doing that like in generic levels, but it's not wrong to want more.
While playing this game, one of my friends hadn't played Gears yet, and so he wanted to play a little co-op. So we hopped in, played some Gears, and then went back to Dark Sector right afterwards.
How'd that compare? Yeah,
held up surprisingly well, I must say.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that, like I say, you're losing co-op, it's a big loss.
Of course.
But the single player is amped up in the places that I feel appropriate, so that it still turns into a fulfilling experience. I felt it nailed this kind of RE4 sort of vibe pretty well. Yeah. It nailed this like Gears thing. It has the glaive. There were enough new kind of pieces, and the best of some of the things that we played recently, all kind of mashed into one game. Is Gears better? Yeah. but I would recommend anyone who likes Gears to check it out, give it a look.
Kill some time till November.
Hey, dude. Hey, let's go.
Hey,
Smash.
let's
Smash.
Smash.
Go.
No, dude, I told you I don't play that
Come on. You think it's a baby game? Come on. One game. Give me one game. I'll prove you wrong.
All right, man. I'm gonna change my mind, but let's do it.
All right.
Let's do this. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, dude, I got what? No fucking way. All right. Back in the action. Wait, C-stick does the smash. Dude, what? Dude, I'm asking you fucking. Yeah, right. That's it. Yeah, why don't you just smash me while I'm talking? Yeah, thanks. Fuck. Fuck. What the fuck? My block's not working. What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
So, you admit it, it's a real fighter.
Yeah, alright, okay, it's a real fighter. God, yeah, alright, it has more depth than I thought it did, I admit it. Okay, yeah, it's a real fighter. People should play it. I agree.